You guys know that I have like an extensive night practice, right? Where like I do my absolute best to like focus on the best part of my day. Here we go. Best part of my day, and just kind of going to sleep in a high vibration. And I woke up this morning and I was just like, why am I so moody? Like, what happened in my dreams? Um, yeah, interesting. But yes, but I did go to sleep the entire time. I slept from the time I went to sleep to the time I woke up. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes I wake up before my alarm clock. Most times I wake up before my alarm clock. But this time I didn't. And I was just like, okay. But I felt terrible. It was so weird. Weird sleep, earlier bed. Also, okay, okay. Interesting. Jen and I use the same word. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. Bizarre that you both use bizarre, right? I'm feeling happy and refreshed. Courtney, we love this for you. Yes, not much sleep last night. Caught a couple of blessings already this week. Oh, that makes me so happy, Courtney. Ash, are you? Oh, do I know the Hindu religion? Not. Um, like I wouldn't say that I'm an expert or anything like that. But have I studied it when I was younger? Yes. I had this really big phase in college where I started studying all like the major religions just to kind of see what made sense and what sat right for me as a person. Um, so in that sense, yes, but enough to like speak on it, no. Had lots of dreams and also feeling happy and refreshed. So grateful. Oh, I'm so happy. That sounds good. Mother and I got into an argument this morning. That kind of set my day off. Things happen. Moms can be intense. Hi, Rahana. How are you? How are you feeling? Very similar to my experience last night. Wow. Okay, okay. Please keep letting me know how you're feeling, how you're doing. If there's any wins that you would like to celebrate, please let's drop them in the chat so that we can celebrate them. And I have my other phone that hopefully is actually charged. It's not. My goodness. This phone is a little older, so the battery dies a lot faster than I would like it to. Here we go. Makes it so much easier when I can see you guys this way. Perfect. There we go. I'm so tired of trying to be enough for her. Yeah, the truth is, that's not our job to be enough for anyone, right? Our job is to remember that we are already enough for ourselves in the life that we're living. How anyone else perceives that or chooses to understand that is really not our business, you know? That's what really brings about a lot of frustration. Doing everything to people please, right? To say, hey, look at me, I'm a good person, or I'm a sound person, or I've changed, or whatever the case is. People are going to feel how they feel, and that's for several different reasons. I actually was speaking about this with my therapist yesterday, and we were talking about my relationship with my own mother and the frustration that I get every now and then. And having that reminder as a practitioner that people can only love you to the scope in which they understand themselves, first and foremost. So, like, let's say you want someone to be more considerate, but they themselves are not a considerate person or have not had experiences with consideration enough for them to have it be a focal point in their mind, they're not going to be considerate. It doesn't matter that you are worth being considered for, they don't have the skill set to express that. We kind of forget that. We kind of make it about ourselves, right? I was actually talking about with another client too. She's having an experience with a family member, and it's like, why are they unable to do that? They don't have the skill set or the capacity. They never had the chance to learn, or they've had the chance to learn and have turned it down several times, right? All of these things affect how people communicate with each other. You can be an effective communicator, and it would not matter to someone that does not know how to communicate, right? It's like speaking fluently in Spanish to someone that speaks exclusively French. It just, maybe they'll pick up on context clues or tonality if they want to, but it's a very frustrating experience, right? Of like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Or becoming defensive because they think that you are attacking them when in fact you are asking for them to hold themselves accountable for their actions and their impact they've had in your life. It's a very hard thing for people to lean into and to understand. Um, And I don't say that to like give, like, I don't want it to be the sense of, yeah, give grace to people who are like that. Um, give grace to all people as much as you possibly can, as much as you have the capacity for. I think I'm gonna actually share that from my journal because it was actually really helpful. But don't be so bothered by it. It's hard because when we're talking about primary relationships, like a parent, you know, or a sibling, or some type of mentor figure, somebody that you have a deep care for, you want them to see that you care. You want them to see that you're enough. Uh, but that is like an uphill battle that requires so much more of your time and energy, and your time and energy could be better used somewhere else, right? Um, I know as caregivers, as healers, many of us tend to struggle with the understanding of like releasing people pleasing. And I am currently working on something to help with that. But until then, you are already enough. If someone in your life is unable to see that, it's really their loss. Okay? I'm getting a car this week. Huge win for me. Oh my God, Courtney, that's huge. Yes. Oh my goodness. I need to jot these things down. This is my journal, y'all. It's so cute, right? The little tree of life. I love it. Okay. I'm going to write those things down. Yes. So the thing that my therapist asked me that I'm going to share with you all that I thought was really, really good. What level of grace are you willing to give this person? And understanding that there are levels to giving things. It's not just I'm going to give you 100%, because they may not have the capacity to receive that. You may actually not have that amount to give them for whatever reason, experiences that you guys have had in the past. So what level of grace are you willing to give them? And that helps a lot because it also gives you the space to be like, okay, if I don't have 100% to give, that's okay, right? As opposed to like trying to muster up 100% to give someone that you may feel like they don't need or they don't deserve for whatever reason that is. It's a good way to start like measuring the outcome of like what it is that I'm willing to give this person, because it allows you to acknowledge the amount of hurt they may have given you, or distress, or whatever the case is. You can really apply it accordingly, right? Um, Also looking at who they are as a person, what they've gone through too, if you want to be, you know, extra considerate. I feel like that's really a very interesting way to look at life, and I really enjoyed hearing that in my session. Okay, Courtney's getting a car. Good morning, Monique. Definitely isn't in my sobriety support group. To her, I'm attention seeking, and that's fine. We also have to be okay with how people see us, right? Like I've said before, there are probably plenty of people in this world that think I am a mean person, and I'm not gonna argue with them on that because I already know who I am. If that is how you feel, that is how you feel. Like, it does not make sense for me to actively engage with someone, whether it's like me actually talking to that person or me constantly putting them in my head thinking about them, when they've already told me how they felt about me and it has already hurt my feelings. Does that make sense? Like, you've already told me something that I don't want, that has hurt me. Why would I continue to engage with you and your behavior, whether we're in person or in my head? It already hurts. I'm already hurt, you know? The next course of action would be, how do I take care of myself from the hurt that I received from this person? Does that make sense? Good morning. Hi, Pamela. Jan, I was afflicted with the disease to please until midlife. Yeah. There is a thing, and I don't know, we all are different ages and at different stages of our lives on this live, which I absolutely adore. I know for myself, well, again, I didn't necessarily have a lot of people pleasing energy, very rebellious. But I know I definitely, there's like an off switch that happens, like when you complete your Saturn return, your first Saturn return. um, which is usually between 27 and 31, depending on your age and where the, the planet is. Uh, and it kind of like things just shut off, like that need to please goes away, um, or at least it gets duller. And then, you have your second Saturn return 27 years after that, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it's 27. And like the same thing, you kind of get that that do you know how like older people, they're just like, I don't care. I've lived life. However you feel is how you feel. It doesn't have to happen so later on in life. It could happen now. You can embrace that energy today of like, I'm going to make mistakes. Humans are very messy, inconsistent people, self included. So when we are allowing ourselves just to kind of come from that truth, it's just makes it easier. It also makes it easier for you to forgive other people. It makes it easier for you to move forward, for you to fulfill your dreams, for you to grow and heal, because you understand that it is not an A to B, a B to C, C to D kind of journey. It's literally going to be up and down all around, but it will allow you to be your best person, your best self, which technically you already are. I don't know. There's a lot of I don't even know how to explain it. Like very cyclical energy, like, talking in circles when you talk about spirituality, because it's like you're working to be your best self, but your best self already exists because you are your best self in this moment. But both are true. Two things are true at the same time. It's an interesting concept. Okay, let's see. People can only show up exactly as they are. Meet them there. Yeah, or don't meet them there. If where they're at is not enough for you, right? Because that's also a thing too, right? I think a lot of us are always very concerned about being enough for other people, but we don't necessarily ask if like what that person is giving you is enough for you. Like, is it enough for you? Because sometimes it's not. And it's not to say that that person themselves are not enough, but their actions towards you may not be enough to sustain you in living in a happier or safer space. We don't talk about that a lot, especially as caregivers, as practitioners. We don't discuss that. It's kind of like a taboo topic of like, oh no, because everyone is enough. That is a true statement. Everyone is enough. However, what they are giving you, what you are receiving, is it enough to sustain you? It's also okay to realize that that may not be enough to sustain you. And then you have to act accordingly. What would that mean for the dynamic in the relationship? If what they are giving you is not enough, do you have a conversation and say, hey, I'm looking for a little bit more from you? And what if they say that they don't have that to give? What steps will you be able to take? This is still where you have a bit of a self-centered, self-focused behavior, right? Where you're focusing on you as opposed to focusing on them. And every time I talk about this, I'm always asked, like, how do you promote this type of behavior and stuff like that? I think it's very important for so many reasons. But knowing if someone is giving you enough is really important too, to be aware of like, hey, I noticed that you XYZ, whatever the case is. And this is not you having the conversation with them. I would always suggest to have that conversation with yourself, with your source, or if not a professional, then like a trusted loved one, right? Filter out that conversation before you have it with the person it's intended to have it with. That I do 100% believe we should do. Like, working on our sense of communication in that way is really important. When we kind of come to somebody with the full scope of our emotion and our passion and our frustration, it's like you have to wade through all of that, and then you've gotten through it, but like they haven't gotten through it. It's still present. So you want to be able to organize and clarify what your point actually is, because sometimes frustration and anger can blind you to why you're actually upset. Because sometimes it's not even that you're upset with that person, it just happened to be a trigger, right? So can you imagine someone doing what they're supposed to do in their soul contract, which is to like trigger you to, you know, invite you into a situation or a new experience or timeline, and you're coming to them super frustrated, right? Only to realize later on, like, oh, you were a trigger. Like, it actually was not you. I'm not frustrated with you. I'm frustrated with, you know, the reminder that you give me. That's not the person's actions. It's like the reminder. Does that make sense? Like, talk about it with a loved one, talk about it with a professional first, get clear on why you're actually upset or frustrated or what is it you actually need from that person, and then set up a time and place that is gentle on both of your spirits, right, to have the conversation. And also go into that conversation knowing that they may not understand you, they may not want to understand you, you may have to ask more questions, you might have to answer more questions than you might be comfortable with, because they're going to want clarity if they care enough to want clarity, right? They can also reject a notion completely. They can be defensive. Um, they can project, right? Go in understanding those things. It's not essentially preparing for the worst. It's just being open to the fact that you're going to respond however you need to respond, as opposed to me being taken off guard of like, yeah, I'm going to go in and I'm going to tell them how I feel and they're going to be so accepting and so loving. Yes, we can set that intention, right? However, we have no idea what the words we're saying, how we're communicating it to them is going to impact them, right? We could come in with the biggest heart and just be like, okay, I'm finally speaking my truth, and they're just like, I don't understand. And you have to be okay with any of the outcomes. We would prefer the outcome where it's a kumbaya moment, right? And we get to hug and have a heart to heart and we're crying and it's beautiful. Um, but it may not be that way. And that's also okay too. Like, understanding that any outcome is an okay outcome when we're trying to communicate what's in our hearts is super important. Okay? Thank you, Jack. Tammy, hi, how are you? Good morning. Blessings, Lotus, and all you beautiful souls. Yes, hi. I give grace according to who I feel deserves it. That's totally fine. And I think that's important too. We were talking about that as well. Um, the understanding of like, well, what if I feel like they don't deserve this thing? Um, it's a twofold answer of everyone deserves grace, love, compassion, things like that. You don't have to be the person to express that all the time, especially if it puts you in a unsafe position, or it can stunt your growth, right? Do you know? Does that make sense? So like, you don't have to give that grace if you feel like you are unable to, for whatever reason. You can justify it however you need to. Is that person still worthy of grace? All human beings are, even the ones that we really dislike, right? You don't have to be the person to give them that grace, though. I also strongly believe in, like, you know, whatever your capacity is. Hi, Kieran. How are you? Please send Logan my love. Um, I don't be caring often, and it keeps me at peace and in happiness. Yeah, lady, same. Yeah. I actually made a video about that, and it was so interesting. People were like, "Wow, like you just say you don't care," and I'm like, "I really don't, but I am a very caring person. Like, two things could be true at the same time, you know." Hi, Vita. Oh my gosh. Good morning. How are you? I was going to text you and TJ to see how you guys were doing. It's been like a while. Courtney, all I've ever wanted is to be enough for her. But are you enough? Do you feel like you're enough for yourself? Right? Because we can't control how someone else feels about us. We have no real influence over that. Right? If they, we talked about this, oh my goodness, when did we talk about this? Was it in like Lotus Hour last week? About like the whole concept of like deficits in their brain, or like these gaps where there are like, how do I want to go about saying this? Okay, I'll go about it through more of like an energy medicine type of response. If someone's energy has a gap in it, right? Here is where one side of their energy is, right? Here's where another side of their energy is. And they are unable, for whatever reason that is, right? It could be trauma, it could be whatever that's causing that space there. They cannot connect it. That means that they're disconnected, right? They cannot understand or comprehend or engage in the way as someone who is connected. Understanding just that simplicity of the fact that they may just be disconnected when it comes to that aspect of life, of you being enough, they might just be disconnected. That has nothing to do with you or the fact that you are actually enough, right? If someone is blind to it, they're just blind to it. That doesn't mean you aren't enough. Or it also doesn't mean that if they weren't blind, you wouldn't be enough for them. Does that make sense? Like there's something, I don't want to say off, but maybe I can because it's not on. Yeah, I'll stick with that. There's something off about them and their ability to comprehend you. That does not mean that there's something wrong with you or that you're not enough, right? I want us to make sure that we are not attaching our sense of self, our personal identity to people outside of us, because that becomes really hard to navigate. It's hard to carry, and it's unnecessary to live life in that way, whether it be a parent, whether it be your own child. Um, you are your own person. They are their own person. However they feel about you, ultimately, there's only so much influence that you have, right? And I say this as I was talking to my therapist the other day, and I was telling her my frustration with my own mom and how sometimes, because of my boundaries, she thinks that I don't love her, which to me is like a wild concept. Like I can't comprehend how she would get to that point of view. And that can easily make me feel like I'm not a good daughter, right? Or like, what am I doing to not show her the unwavering and endless love that I have for my mom? Why is she not able to see that? What do I need to do more of? You instantly go to like fix it mode. What am I doing wrong, right? And my therapist reminded me, like, if she doesn't have that capacity to see that, that doesn't mean that you are not giving that. It just means that there is something there that's blocking her from receiving that truth. And that helps so much, as opposed to me carrying this thing of like, I wish my mom knew how much I really, really love her. Either she will or she won't, but to carry that weight in particular is going to do so much damage to who you are as a person, because then you begin to mold yourself in a way where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go above and beyond and do all these things to show this person who I really am. Why you get into like this proving mode, proving your existence, proving your love, proving your character and your qualities, and everything about that feels very like sticky, very very gross, because if they can't see that or understand that, there's really not much else you can do. I want to like say this in a very like gentle way, because my intention is not for you to dismiss people. I'm like, oh, you don't get me, so whatever, right? Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if you've expressed and you've given effort and it still has not worked, they just may not have the capacity. And it doesn't mean that you are not enough or that you do not love them deeply or whatever the case is. Like, I know for a fact that, in particular, I love my mother. Despite our experiences together, I absolutely adore who she is. And I always want what's best for her. She does not see it that way. There's nothing I can do about that. As someone who has constantly tried, that is where her capacity is. Of like, you're not doing the exact things that I need you to do or that I want you to do, right? Because we always, usually in dynamics like that, there is a control issue, right? Someone wants to remain in power as opposed to being equal in energy. Because my mother is still my mother. We're never going to be equal in that sense. But as in human beings, there's always a power struggle. And for that reason, because I'm not willing to give into that power struggle, she just feels like, okay, you don't love me then. Which is understandable, right? Don't enjoy it. Definitely hurts my heart to know that. But I also have to understand that I cannot carry that with me everywhere I go, because then that's going to change how I show up and love all the other people that are able to see my love clearly for them, right? It'd be different if there's no relationship in my life where people feel like I love and care about them, but that is only one relationship where it's not the case. So it's not necessarily a me problem. It's more of an issue in my mom's ability to comprehend the healthy love that I have for her, because she's used to love being expressed in a different way that I'm unwilling to engage in. Okay? There we go. The whole crew is here. It's so good to see everybody's names. Yes, I had a difficult conversation like that recently, and it went as it went. Yeah, and sometimes that's just what it is. It's just like, okay, you don't think that that's a true statement. Okay, cool. It's people seem like it seems to be very like difficult. It's the law of detachment. That's really what you are practicing. Of like, I have set the intention, I comprehend the impact, and this is what it is. Now, whatever the outcome is, I am unattached to. It is a practice. Can be very easily associated with dissociation. I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. But being able to detach from outcome of how people are going to perceive you or receive you is a very liberating act. And it is one that I would always suggest that you learn how to become more familiar with, because it is one of those tools in life that are going to help you out tenfold if you can understand that. Being able to detach from the outcome is a big deal and a necessary tool if you find yourself to be a healer, a practitioner, a caregiver, or just someone with a very sensitive spirit. You're going to need to be able to detach, or you're going to lose your shit, right? Much appreciated, Vita. God bless. Have a beautiful, productive day. Yes, Vita. You're the best, Vita. Please text me. Let me know how everything is going. I would love to know. Oh, my goodness. Courtney, it's a tough thing. Sending you love. Exactly. Yeah. To all, especially Lotus, being such an inspiring host and influential spirit. Oh, thank you, Kira. My heart. Oh, bless you indeed. I shall indeed tell him. He will light up his gorgeous smile. Oh, I love that. Oh, I miss you too, Vita. Guys. Sometimes I think that I'm not a softie because I tend to be a very intense person. And then, like, I'll rewatch the lives and things like that. And I was like, no, you're such a softie girl. Just depends on the environment that you're in. Lotus, I'm so relieved to see you. Priscilla! I've been in a really bad state. Are you okay? If it's something that you feel like you can talk about privately, you can always DM me. Okay. I haven't seen her here in a moment. She started a new job, if I'm not mistaken, so it could just be the hours in which we go live. But I'm going to be sending her a message later today. Telling my Logan that Lotus said hi. His face shines with an amazing bright light. I love that. I love that. It's like a disconnect at times. Yeah. Lotus, you're the best. Oh, Karen, thank you. Hi, Shy. Good morning. Lotus, your therapist was on fire lately. She's phenomenal. I have been blessed with an amazing therapist. I love that woman so much. She is a very inspiring person to be able to work with, because she continues to be a example of how I can show up and hold space for my own clients. It's just another testament to the fact that I'm able to cultivate healthy relationships. You know, she's my therapist, but we also have like a professional, like there's a care there. There's a sisterhood there that I really appreciate a lot. She is amazing. Love her to pieces. Okay. I need a hug. Oh, girl. Hugs are so important. Oh, I love you. Okay. I had a really hard day yesterday after all, ready, feeling anxious. I got a heat stroke. Okay. I'm trying so hard to take care of me. I got sick to my stomach and I'm reaching out for some energy today. Okay. definitely send you some love and some energy. You know what I'm going to say, and do not be annoyed. But if you're annoyed, you're annoyed, okay? Please drink water, drink active water. I would prefer it to be coconut water at this point. If you experience a heat stroke, you need something with electrolytes in it. Um, or like some fresh spring water even, but like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of active water. If you're unable to get either of those, adding like lemon or lime, you need half of a lime or half of a lemon for every 8 ounces in order for it to have the real impact it needs to. Or eating watermelon, cantaloupe, or honeydew. Those are all water enriched foods that will help you. I would like for that to happen. And I would like for you to keep me posted on that, because having a heat stroke is not great at all, and your body needs to cool down. Water helps that to happen, okay? And papaya would be really good too if you're actually having a very sensitive stomach. You can do papaya to like line the stomach correctly. I don't enjoy papaya. It tastes very gross to me. However, the benefits are the benefits. Okay. Staying true to oneself is always ever challenging. Yeah. But you're always giving opportunities. You're always given opportunities to practice staying true to yourself. And that's something that I have learned to really respect and appreciate. I'm constantly always given opportunities to take care and to realign with my true self. Right? There we go. Staying true. Thank you, Jack. I want to rest and get better. I want you to rest and get better too, Priscilla. That's what I want as well. I'm glad we're on the same page, okay? Please do what you can. And do not kind of go into like overdrive of like self-care mode where we do all the things. Start with just getting hydrated. See how you feel afterwards. Getting hydrated and sleeping. Once you've done those two things, then talk about whatever else it is that you want to implement when it comes to your self-care routine. But right now, your body needs it, especially after having some type of stroke. Your body needs rest and it needs water really, really, really badly. Okay? Think of it like changing your internal landscape. So you want it to be like a lush rainforest on the inside, and right now it's more of a desert, right? You would need to provide water, right? And you would need to provide sleep, so that way you can create a softer internal world that feels more nourished, okay? Priscilla, I'm going through something like that. Last couple of weeks, things are more difficult. Yes. We always got your back. Beautiful, strong black girl. Oh, Kieran, that's hilarious. Thank you. We never have to overprove ourselves, nor our love for someone. Either you can receive or you don't. Yes, lady, 100% agree. Yeah, it's like, it's up to you. It's up to you. Like, you don't have to, you know. Even though I know in a lot of our cultures, that's like different. Do you guys, have you had the experience where you go to like an elder's house and they're like, oh, are you hungry? And you're like, no, actually, I already ate. They're like, okay, great, I'm gonna make you a plate. And they make you this big plate of food, and you're like, no, I'm actually really okay. Like, I actually don't need any of this. I'm fine. You're like, no, you need this food. You need to eat this. You know, like, oh, you're so frail, or you're so whatever the case is. It's like, I feel like that's the best way I can describe like giving somebody something that they're like, I'm okay, or I don't have the capacity to eat more food, and they're just like, no, take it seriously, here. Like, you're hungry. I can tell you're hungry. And the truth is, they might actually be hungry, but they're not comfortable or ready to eat now. That's also okay. I know for me as a black woman, like, that's a thing. Like, if you're going anywhere and there's an elder, you have to eat something, right? I've learned to compromise and maybe not eat the entire plate, especially because a lot of the food that is cooked, I honestly cannot eat. So I do have a bit of a scapegoat, like, oh no, you know, like with lupus, I can't, you know, which is always like, let me, like, I don't understand. I'm trying to feed you. But I always find that to be like really interesting, of like finding that balance of like someone really wanting to give you something and you being like, no. I would say like flip it in reverse of you wanting to be that person that's like, here's all this food that I want you to eat, and not maybe considering the fact that they might have dietary restrictions, right? Or they might have like an inability to eat it because of a certain illness, whatever case is. Like, I always love to change the dynamic of stories in my head for me to better understand what I'm going through, because again, it gives me a sense of detachment from it being like, for instance, my mom feels a certain way about me, as opposed to if I put it in this scenario, right, in this metaphor, can I comprehend it better? And in that understanding, it's like, yeah, I can't force feed somebody, even though I may want to, even though I feel like they need the food. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's appropriate for me to do. And it's not me honoring their space and boundaries, because if they're saying no, for whatever reason they're saying no, I have to honor the no, right? They could be saying no because they don't know how. They could be saying no because they want to be spiteful. They could be saying no because they genuinely just don't need it. There could be so many reasons behind the no. That part is not necessarily my business. It's me hearing them say no. It's me hearing them say, I don't have the capacity, or I'm not willing to do this with you. I'm not willing to see you in this light. I don't know how to see you in this light. And being okay with that, right? If they want to learn how, there are resources and spaces for them to do that. And then we can practice together. But I don't have to do that part. And that can be really hard, especially as a practitioner, because you have the skill set and the tools, right? Um, oh, Jack, I'm thinking of you, friend. I'm here. Shy. Amazing advice. Priscilla, my hand is on your back. Vita, love you. Team Lotus, I love you, Court. Oh my goodness. Sending you so much love, Priscilla. Seems like there's a general heaviness globally that's permeating through the air. This month of July is always filled with so much heavy energy, I've noticed. Oh, I wonder if it's... First off, I'm surprised by it not getting a little bit lighter. Leo season tends to make things a little bit lighter and brighter, but this Leo season has been a little strange. The Leos in my life refuse to acknowledge this to be true. Leos are very intense people. I have a lot of Leos in my life, my mother included. They're very intense, and they're like, no, it's not us. Cancer season tends to be more of like an emotional experience, because that's what Cancer energy does. It's a water sign, so it's meant for you to dive in deep. It's meant for you to feel through the wounds, things like that, to provide healing and nourishment, and that can be very uncomfortable for a lot of people. It just seems like we have like residual energy for some reason. Like, it hasn't gotten lighter yet. I'm not sure if it's because of the retrograde that's coming up. Also, too, I forgot. So I looked through and I couldn't find the retrograde class that I know for a fact I taught. So I'm going to just share it again next week. Yeah, I'm going to do it again next week. And we'll talk about what retrogrades are, what they mean. Because once you understand the concept of a retrograde, it's a lot easier for you to move through any type of retrograde. The type becomes less relevant when you understand what a retrograde is here to do for you. And as someone who was born during retrogrades, I think there were like 2 retrogrades that happened when I was born at the time, I'm actually really good at it. So I can't wait to talk about that with you guys. Okay. I'm going to answer some more questions and we're going to tap. I swear I'm making a shirt that says Team Lotus. Courtney, please let me know when you do. Lotus taking care. My mom this weekend will text you. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Vita. I want to feel connected in this moment. I hope that you do feel connected in this moment, because you are connected at all times. All times. Even when we feel disconnected, we're connected. It's like, here's the connection and we can sense it, but then we turn our heads away and we keep turning our heads away and we're like, nope, there's nothing happening. I can't see it anymore. There's no more connection. I feel super alone. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I'm going. Because you're not looking, you're not turning towards it, right? And that could be for so many reasons, okay? It's not just a will of power and choice of like, just turn your head. Like, there's so many reasons as to why we do that. But you're always connected. The connection never leaves. You're never disconnected. That is something that I learned when I was hospitalized in my mid-20s. And I was reading No Mud, No Lotus, and then I was reading The Universe Has Your Back. And I remember the moment completely because it was like a full moon and everything. And spirit like woke me up, and I read The Universe Has Your Back in like 5 hours. Like I just was digesting the information because I felt so disconnected and so alone, and I felt like I was never gonna get out of that space. And I read the book, and that was the main takeaway, that you are never alone, even when you think you're alone. Whether it be that your ancestors are with you, or your angels, or your spirit guides, um, or God, Allah, whoever it is you call on to, um, even the love and care of your physical loved ones that are still on earth. You're never alone. You're never disconnected. It is actually impossible for either of those things to be true. However, you can take your intention and your attention away from that truth and feel alone, but you're never alone. Okay? It feels like it's been July for a year and a half. I know it has been a pretty long month. June was just kind of like I'm out, but July has been long. I agree. Thank you, Lotus. I've been drinking Gatorade and water. I would try something other than Gatorade. I know people kind of go to Gatorade for electrolytes. I would even try a Pedialyte. There's a lot of sugar, and that also ends up dehydrating you. Um, maybe switch to Pedialyte. Not great, doesn't taste that great, but it's more gentle on the system. Of course, please speak to your professional. I'm just giving suggestions. Coconut water is amazing for hydration. It is, it is, it is. I'm needing so much live water right now. Ginger, solar flares affecting sleep and our bodies, and it's just hot. Take care of those kidneys. Yes, please do. That explains so much. I was telling my sister, I'm like, I'm having hot flashes, and she was just like, oh no, are you aging? And I'm like, we're the same age, first and foremost. And she was like laughing at me, but I'm like, no, I am feeling extremely hot. So it's good to know that I'm not alone and that there's a reason for it. And my sister-in-law is the hardest person. We never see her. Her own family is terrified of her. Yeah, sounds like my mom. My family is terrified of my mom. It's hilarious to me because I'm like, I'm not afraid of my mom. She's my mom. And everybody's like, your mom is terrifying. And I was like, yeah, but you know, well, she's really not. I think that's also what irritates my mom because she has this persona of being like the big bad wolf. And I'm just kind of like, okay, lady, whatever you say. My husband got mad at me for getting sick yesterday. I don't know how to feel about it. I want my husband to care. Again, this kind of goes back to understanding that they might be a significant relationship, right? Like a parent, a sibling, a partner, and they don't understand or they're not willing to comprehend or have the capacity to do so. That is still not your business, right? As opposed to focusing our energy on the fact that that person does not care or has the inability to care for someone who is unwell, I would focus on you being unwell, right? Because that's something you have influence over. You don't have influence over how he can show up for you. You just don't, right? But you do have influence over how you can show up for yourself, right? And an added benefit of that is leading by example, right? If we really want to teach someone how to treat us better and things like that, the best thing we can do is lead by example. People respect my boundaries and honor my time and energy because I respect my boundaries and I honor my time and energy. So they also understand that there's no space for them to do anything differently. That would mean not engaging with me on an intimate level. Some people are okay with that. Most people aren't, so they respect my boundaries, right? So in this case of taking care of yourself, if you are someone who is normally a person that does not take care of themselves when they're sick, you just kind of pretend it's not a thing and you move past it and you do all the things you normally do even though you don't feel great, people begin to look at you that way of like, well, it doesn't really matter if she's sick or not, she's still going to show up and make things happen and do things. And then you get to a point where you are feeling so unwell that you cannot push past that, right? That old habit becomes null and void. It's not going to register for people that way because they're used to seeing you push through it or like move through it. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for you. I'm just giving an example, right? So the best way to counter that is to take care of yourself, especially when someone else does not want to or is unable to do so. Take care of yourself. It is no one else's responsibility but your own. But it's really nice when other people do help us and take care of us. I love that feeling of being cared for by others. But I also realize that I get more of that when I give more of that to myself. The better I take care of myself, people go above and beyond to take care of me too. Does that make sense? There we go. Lotus, but Papaya speaks so well of you. Maybe you two should talk. Me and Papaya, I just, like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, I don't even want to get into it. It's just not. Me and Papaya. It's not great. What's active water? Water that will actually hydrate you. Regular water doesn't do that. A lot of our water tends to be tainted or harsh. You need water that is going to hydrate you. I have like, I've talked about it a lot. I feel like if you like rewatch, I can't even tell you which live it is, but I talk about water a lot. Adding some type of citrus fruit to the water, or chia seeds, or a little bit of sea salt. There's so many different ways to activate your water that help. There's a really good book by Tracy Piper called The Piper Protocol. It's in the links with Lotus section of the email. That book really talks about it in depth to really explain why it's important. Most times people drink water and it's not doing anything but passing through them. Active has minerals. Thank you, Ginger. Active has minerals and nutrients such as electrolytes our bodies can allow plain water to pass through. Yes, exactly what Ginger said. Perfectly. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's how I feel, like a desert. I just wanted him to take care of his wife. His sister is the most important person and my biggest trigger. He gave in to her and left me to panic and wound up with a heat stroke. I'm sorry that you had that experience of abandonment by a partner. That's never fun or great or necessary. The only thing I can think of is that whatever bond, which seems traumatic, that his sister and himself have, is more detrimental than maybe they all realize, and that's why he made that choice. Again, why he made the choice is not necessarily helpful in this moment because we just want you to get better. That's my main concern, is that you get better. Okay? Anywhere you can find it, like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's has like active water, like electrolyte water. You can make it yourself. There's plenty of ways to do it. I find the easiest way is coconut water, and not the blue bottle of Vita Coco, maybe the white one, the pressed one is a little bit better. And coconut harvest coconut, the pink coconut water is really good too. And then they have like watermelon water that you can also drink, and that helps as well. Okay. Lady, make me smile. You being you. Lady, I love you too. You're fantastic. Karen, you obviously eat well, very nutrition and healthy. Good supplements. Look at your gorgeous skin. Oh, thank you, Karen. I do. I try to take really good care of my body. Lotus has some good ideas like coconut water, fruit, and water. Yes. I use Relight. Ooh, I love that. I gotta look that up. Maggie, hi. In nonviolent communication, they say there's a difference between a demand and a request and how we respond to a no. Ooh, Maggie, share more, please. Lotus lupus. Lupus is, I know. Canis lupus is a scientific name of wolf. Yes. Yeah. I thought it was very interesting for me to have that be my spirit animal for the majority of my life. And then to find out that diagnosis, and that's what it means. It's actually very interesting. I live in Texas for almost 40 years, 100 plus degree weather every day. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't even have anything like, my heart is with you, Ginger, because that sounds hot all the time. I'm a Leo. Oh, it's your season, Priscilla. Yeah, Leos are intense. They're intense people. But all fixed signs are. I'm a fixed sign. We are intense people. It's kind of what comes with the territory. Okay? Oh, yes, I know. His birthday's coming up. Vita, love you. Take care of your mom. Yes, I agree. In Dublin, Ireland, it's too hot. Wow, geez Louise. I'm awake because I'm anxious while feeling crummy. Well, you're here with us now, and we'll do something on anxiety. We'll tap on that. I'm really good at retrogrades. I am. I really, really am. Yes, the universe has your back. It was a Bible for me. Yes, read it over and over so many times. It was so good when I was just lost. Agreed. Sometimes I just like flip through the pages and just pick a page and read it, and it always has what I need. Fun fact: Gabrielle Bernstein is also a Scorpio. Disconnected and alone. That's how I felt in the last couple of weeks. And remember that it's a feeling. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, right? Your feelings are valid because you have them, but they don't necessarily mean that that's the truth about the reality you're experiencing. Emotions, right? Feelings are energy in motion. So when it's coming up, it's information, right? So if you're getting information that makes you feel like you're alone or disconnected, what are you doing with that information? Are you just sitting with it and letting it sit on your chest and it's like, oh, well, clearly I'm alone and disconnected? Or can we switch our perspective and look at it as, okay, I'm getting feedback from my body and environment that I'm feeling disconnected and alone. What is it that needs to happen so that I no longer feel disconnected and alone? Right? That's a way more empowering way to look at it. Same thing. You're still acknowledging the fact that you feel disconnected and alone. I'm not taking away from that because that's a valid experience. However, feeling disconnected and alone just is like a halt, a stop. That's just what it is. We can't do anything about it. As opposed to being like, oh, this is feedback that I'm getting. So what am I doing in my environment, in my lifestyle that maybe needs to shift or change so that I no longer feel that way? Okay. Um, Hi, Tashana. How are you? Much love and abundance. Goddess Mo! Hi! I need to hear this today. Thank you, Lotus and friends. Always, Priscilla. Thank you so much. That makes so much sense, Lotus. Thank you. Shantangi. Did I say that right? A whole word, yes. Yay! Lindsay Laloba. Oh, for too long I thought the difference between a demand and a request was tone. Ooh. As women particularly, it can seem like we're expected to be kind, accommodating, and sweet when asking for what we want. Yes, that is a tactic that we can use. Doesn't always necessarily work, but it is a tactic. I find that that tactic only works when said woman, right, or femme has taken really good care of themselves, right? So I can ask for things sweetly because there's like this intensity about me where it's like you can clearly see that it's a choice that I'm making and I'm not making it out of fear, right? I think when we are kind of going into the whole like, let me sweetly and ask you this kindly because I don't, that goes back into that fawn mode of like the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, those four, right? And like wanting to pacify this other person because you think that they have more power or influence in your dynamic. That can definitely change so much about how you communicate. Um, I do tend to ask for things sweetly, but there's an energy about me that people understand. Like it's a choice for me to ask. And honestly, it now becomes like an honor if I'm asking you for help or support because one, I'm very capable of doing it myself. But two, if I feel like you have a skill set that can be of benefit to me, um, there's an honor in that, right? When someone that I really care for asks for my help, I feel very honored by that because I know that they're capable of doing it themselves. And I respect the fact that they're working on building out that ability to call on help outside of themselves and that they found me competent, honestly, enough to be able to fulfill that for them. But yes, we are kind of taught to be very meek about it, and you can be sweet and strong at the same time. They don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? If we get angry when we're met with a no, it is because it wasn't actually a request, regardless of the tone of voice. It was a demand. Ooh, okay, okay. And demands are nothing to be afraid of. They are ways to assert our needs. Thank you for sharing that, Maggie. I'm doing great. I love this for you, Tashana. What am I thinking that is creating my feelings is a question I ask. Vita, what am I thinking that is creating my feelings? Ooh. And I would even throw in like, what am I experiencing that's influencing my feelings, right? Like sometimes for me, if I watch like a really sad movie, uh, for the rest of the day I'm sad. I'm just like sad. So now I'm more mindful of the media that I watch, right? What was I experiencing? I was experiencing someone else's sadness, and because I'm very empathetic, now I've taken that on and have addressed it and applied it to my life. And now I think that I'm actually sad when in fact I was just really into a movie. That happens so often, especially with the music we consume, the media we consume. We tend to take on the emotions um, from said singers or entertainers, and that can influence our lives a lot, you know? The best example I can give is that when Beyonce's Lemonade came out, I was in a relationship, and at that point in time, it was healthy and fine. And I was treating this man like he himself was the person Beyonce was talking about. I was just like, what have you done? Like, just. And it was because the album moved me so much that I began to embody it, which is why I'm very particular about the music that I listen to now, because music is very influential. Media is super influential on your journey. 9 times out of 10, if you're feeling some type of disconnect or some type of anxiety or anxious feeling, I would ask you about what you're listening to, what your favorite songs are, your favorite artists. They tell you a lot about yourself. And what type of media are you taking in? I find that people who don't watch the news consistently are less anxious, which makes sense, right? There we go. To shout out wonderfully here. God, it's most always to see you. Wow, acting out the album. Yes, I did totally. And he was just kind of like, dude, why are you treating me like I've cheated? I've never done any of these things. And I was like, why am I doing that? And I was like, oh, Beyonce. This makes so much more sense now. Yes, I'm very selective in my media as well. A lot of energies try to compete for our time in this place. Yeah, just be intentional about what you listen to. Okay, I want us to do a quick tapping session. And I think I'm going to do it on this. I'm just pulling it up. Here we go. We are going to do it on anxiety because I don't think I've ever tapped on that with you guys publicly. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do two rounds, a negative and a positive. We're going to use a tuning scale this time. Should take about 5 minutes in total, okay? We're going to tap on anxiety. I think it's a really good topic just for anyone, especially because we've all been feeling a little low on our energy and just kind of like what's going on. That can create moments of anxiousness for us, right? So we're going to use EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique or Techniques. And it is the beautiful healing art form of tapping on acupressure points on the body. And in doing so, we're having a communication with our body and our mind to release any traumas that are still trapped in the body and to rewire the neural pathways in our mind to support new ways and healthier habits for us to live by. Okay? I'm going to go over the tapping points, what you can experience, and then we'll also talk about the tuning scale, okay? So first and foremost, there are 9 tapping points that I use in the recipe that we do, and that's the side of hand between the pinky knuckle bone and the wrist bone right here where my tattoo is. On either side, you can lightly tap. 1 finger, 2 fingers, all the fingers, it does not matter. We have the top of the head where the crown chakra would be, the start of the brow on either side of the third eye chakra. You would trace that brow bone to the side of your eye, feeling for the bone, not the temple, the bone, and you would tap here. Underneath the eye, you would tap here. Underneath the nose, above the top lip, you would tap here. In the crease of your chin, you would tap there. Then you would look for your collarbone, and you would tap in the fleshy part underneath the top of the collarbone. Then you would trace your armpit to the end of your armpit, and you would tap here on the side, on either side. Doesn't matter. Okay? Those are the 9 tapping points. You don't have to remember them at all. You just have to be able to watch me and follow through if you can. Even if you cannot tap on those points, you can think about tapping on those points, and it has the same effect. Okay? Different ways to tap. If you're someone who's super sensitive, there are alternative ways in which you can tap in. So instead of traditionally tapping, you can pulse, keeping your hand to the body. You can rub, providing a soothing sensation, or you can hover. All has the same impact, just depends on what feels best for you. If you're someone who is easily, if you're very sensitive to energy, I would suggest just hovering. It just makes it easier. If you find that in one of the tapping points something feels really good, like for me, my favorite tapping point is my collarbone. It just feels really good to tap here. Stay there. Your body knows what it needs more than I do in this moment because we're not one-on-one, right? So do what feels best for you. And the results, you might yawn, you might tear up, you could actually cry. You might feel release in the body of tension. There's so many different outcomes. That's just how your body is getting rid of the stagnant energy. So let it do what it needs to do. Some people belch when they do EFT. I know it can feel like really gross, but like let the energy out as opposed to keeping stagnant energy trapped in because you're concerned about how you're going to look to other people, right? This is not about them, it's about you. And tuning scale. So tuning scale is what we use to document our journey because EFT is such a subtle art form. It can really feel like you are not doing anything, but in fact you're doing so much. So we use a tuning scale of -10 to +10. Okay, -10 is the worst you've ever felt ever. 0 is I don't feel bad, but I also don't feel good. And then +10 is the absolute best you've ever felt. And what I want you to do, I'm going to ask you 3 times throughout our tapping session, in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, to select a number. Let this be an intuitive thing. Whatever number comes up, you don't have to justify it as to why. Just drop it in the chat when it's time to, and you'll notice how your numbers fluctuate or stay the same, and that lets you know how you're moving through that topic, okay? Also, too, please drink water. Priscilla, what I would love for you to do, I need you to drink water this entire time and maybe think about tapping. I don't need you to do tapping. I just need you to think about it, okay? Like envision yourself tapping on those points. I need you to drink more water. I don't want you to overstimulate yourself, okay? Vida, what else? Priscilla, you've all helped me so much in this time. I appreciate you all. I'm starting to relax. I don't want to blame my husband. You don't have to blame your husband. Because you don't have to do that, okay? Yes, we're all on our own journey. Exactly. Oh, Carrie, thank you so much for this wonderful donation. I appreciate it. Priscilla, thank you so much for this wonderful donation. I keep forgetting that this is a donation-based practice. I'm supposed to say it 3 times. I literally always forget. But yes, this is a donation-based practice. This is how I'm able to pay my bills. So if you are able to donate financially, I appreciate it. You can donate during the live or anytime after the live as well. If you're unable to do that for whatever reason, that's totally fine. If you can leave a review or a rating for any one of my tracks. I have a new track coming out soon. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. That would also help me a lot. Or even sharing my teacher profile on Insight Timer. Joining the email list. Joining the private membership. There's different ways that you can still support the exchange that we have today, okay? And I'm going to drop those things here. So first and foremost, it's the podcast. And then you can join my email list. Is in the in my bio link for Insight Timer, okay? And I send out emails like 2 to 3 times a week. Definitely you get a email from me regardless every week, but yes, I try to send out as much information as possible. Lindsay, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate you. Yes, thank you. I want you to drink water. I do not want you to tap, okay? Yes, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the new track. You guys are so excited. Okay, stop the point. Okay, let me focus. Okay, I'm getting too excited. Tuning, okay. I got so excited. Tuning, -10 to +10. -10 being the worst you've ever felt. 0 being I don't feel bad, I also don't feel good. And then +10 being the best you've ever felt. Go ahead and drop a number in the chat, okay? Oh, Brianna, you can donate. You guys are on a different platform. Let's see if I know how to do this. Oh gosh, I don't know how to do this. I can't say exactly how, but I do have like a Venmo and a Cash App and things like that. If you wanted to donate, that all goes to the same thing. If you can follow me on like Instagram, it's at Lotus La Loba. It's my same name all together. LOTUSLALOBA. And like DM me, just say hi as part of the live, and then I can send you information that way. Because I'm on another platform and I don't want to, cause any alarm. Okay? Okay, perfect. Yes, we're dropping those numbers. I'm so excited. Those are good email messages, by the way. Yay, I'm so happy. I hate putting like emails together and wondering like, oh my God, like, are they going to be annoyed? But I'm like, no, it's information I want to share. I feel like they'll understand. So it's always nice to get that feedback. And when you guys respond to the emails, I respond back. I do respond back. So you can always respond to the emails that I send out too. They come back to my personal email. Okay, perfect. Okay, great. And for me, I'm at a 4. That's really because I'm just excited about this new tapping session that's coming out. Okay, let's begin. We're going to start at the side of the hand. You can lightly tap, pulse, rub, or hover. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, release. Deep inhale, breathe in. Exhale, release. And repeat after me, okay? I take full responsibility for my well-being. I'm going to stay here and repeat again. I take full responsibility for my well-being. One more time. I take full responsibility for my well-being. And then we're going to go to the top of the head. Repeat. Even though I feel anxious, I completely love and accept myself. Start the brow. Honestly, I really hate when I feel overwhelmed by every action and every thought. Side of the eye. My body begins to feel so tense and stiff under the eye. It becomes hard to breathe and focus. It's like there's a weight on my chest, under the nose. I feel incapable of handling life. My life. The life that I'm living. Chin. Like everything I do or think or feel, collarbone, will result in something painful. Something that can haunt me. Something that I don't feel prepared for. Underneath the arm, tap here. Something that could knock me down and keep me there. And I'm terrified. I want you to drop your hands to your side. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, release, open mouth. And I want you to think of the tuning scale again. -10 being the worst you've ever felt, 0 being I don't feel bad, I don't feel good, and then +10 being the best you've ever felt, and drop a number in the chat, okay? It's okay if you feel a little, it's a negative round. That's a normal feeling. You will feel better by the time we are finished, okay? And you can go ahead and drink some water to help with that. You can do the same. Beautiful. I feel the depth and time behind the messages. Oh, thanks, Jack. No, you're fine, Tanya. You're good to go. We just started. Thank you guys for dropping those numbers. Continue to drop those numbers if you need to. Brianna, thank you. I hope to see you on Instagram. Just DM me, okay? Perfect. I know that felt a little like, ugh, but it's okay. We'll feel better soon. Promise. Okay, we're going to start off on our positive round. And we're going to lightly tap here. Repeat after me. The truth is, anxiety is a feeling, not a monster. I don't need to make it any bigger than it is. It's just information about how I am understanding my environment and expressing myself. Top of the head. The truth is, I am more than capable of managing it, soothing it, engaging with it. We're going to go to the brow. There we go. Because I'm able to recenter I can recenter myself in what is actually real. I'm gonna go to the side of the eye. Using my 5 senses to bring me back into alignment. Underneath the eye, tap here. First, I can take a deep breath in and out. And let's do that together. Deep breath in. Slow exhale, release. Deep breath in. Exhale, release, dropping the shoulders. Deep breath in. Exhale, release, softening the face. Underneath the nose. Remembering that my breath is my life force. And it connects me back to the divine. Go to the chin, tap here. I can squeeze my eyes shut and open them gently. I'm going to try that together. Squeeze your eyes tight. Open them. Collarbone, tap here. Remembering that I get to witness all the beauty in this moment. Seeing the different colors and shapes all around me. Underneath the arm. As I touch these sacred points on my body and feel the warmth of my divine temple, we're going to go to the top of the head. I also can drink water very slowly. And Priscilla's going to do this for us, and we'll drink water afterwards. Brow. Taking in the refreshing feeling it brings in every sip. Brow. And I use my ears to tune in. To hear sounds, songs, laughter, birds chirping. Reminding myself that there are other things outside of me right now. And we're coexisting. Underneath the eye. I can even tune into my heartbeat. The divine rhythm that is always with me in this life that I live. Reminding me that I am never alone. I share this rhythm with so many others. Underneath the nose. I can listen to affirming and loving statements that I speak over myself. Chin. Like I am wonderful. I am patient. I am kind and capable. I am prepared. I am generous. All is well. I am safe. Collarbone. I am grounded and brave. I can experience happiness. I have community. underneath the arm. And I am loved so deeply in every way possible. And I am cherished in every moment of my life, even when I don't remember or realize it. We're going to go to the side of the hand and close out the practice. And that is what anxiety can remind me of. It's just information. It's just an invitation to focus back on me and take really good care of myself. And when you put your hands over your heart, take a nice deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, release, softening the shoulders, softening the face. Deep inhale, breathing in. Exhale, release. Bring a smile to your face. And then I want you to think of that tuning scale again. -10 being the worst you've ever felt. 0 being I don't feel bad, I don't feel good. And then +10 being the best you've ever felt. And drop that in the chat really quickly, okay? And let me know how you're feeling afterwards. Please drink some water. I'm gonna do the same, okay? Okay, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yay! How are we feeling after that? If you need to go, completely understandable. We're almost at our hour and 30 minutes, okay? But I appreciate you for joining me, and I just want to check in and make sure that you're okay. 8, eyes watery and lots of yawning, calm and steady. Yes, that's amazing. Yes, Maggie, how do we find your insight timer? You can just use my name. It should come up. I'm the only person with this name, which is really nice to have. But you should find me there. And then if you find me on Insight Timer, Lotus Laloba, and you DM me your email, I can also put you on my email list, and you'll get like insights and resources and things like that I send out every week. Thank you, dear Lotus. Off to work at 8. Sending so much love. Have a good time, Vita. Jen, thank you. You're so welcome. Cassie, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it so much. Let me know how you're feeling. Okay, I spent the past 2 days at the hospital getting IVIG for my autoimmune flare-up, so this is nice instead of the hospital. Tanya, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you spent some time with us. Okay, this is also a really great practice. EFT is fantastic for people who have chronic illness or have been diagnosed with autoimmune disorders or diseases. It's a really good tool to have to help regulate the body and the nervous system, and even to improve our immune system. Like even tapping here directly improves your immune system. So something to keep in mind. Okay. Thank you so much. You're so welcome, Tanya. Yay! Is there anything else that you guys want to share before we close out for today's midweek check-in? I know that Courtney only mentioned getting a new car, which is fantastic, but if there's any other wins that you would like to share, I usually share these wins in the upcoming email. So this is something that you want to share. And wins don't have to be big. They can be small. They're just wins. They're just opportunities for us to celebrate the good things that are happening in your life, okay? I don't know if you guys shared my win for this week so far. I think my win is that I'm starting the 75, it's the 75 hard challenge, but it's not the hard challenge. It's like my own challenge, but I'm excited to be doing it for the next 75 days because it's something to look forward to. So I think that's like my personal win. It's like doing my first official workout yesterday, and it was fantastic, and I was exhausted afterwards, but it was nice. It was helpful. Okay. Let's see. I would be curious to see a Lotus favorite book list one day. Lindsay, it's literally in my email. I literally have all the books that I ever recommend. Those are my favorite books. I never recommend a book that I have not read more than twice. Like, I read those books all the time. I actually have my own book list. It's, if you go in the email, if you're on the email list, again, join the email list if you're not. Um, if you go and you scroll to the bottom, it says links with Lotus, and they're literally links of all of my favorite books. The Celestine Prophecy, Accident is Given, Energy Medicine, oh my goodness, what other books do I really love? Namas and Niyamas and Yamas. I love that book too. It's always hard for me to say. Oh my god, there's so many books, but there's tons of links there that I share so that you guys can also have them too. This in August we will be discussing this book. Literally one of my favorite books. I talk about this book all the time. Celestine Prophecy. We will be talking about the 9 insights. I will be having masterclass versions of these conversations in the Garden, which is the private membership. But we will be having general discussions over each insight for the upcoming tap-ins. It's either happen on Wednesdays or on Fridays. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do yet. I might just add a third session for the week, but I haven't figured that out yet. I have time. But we're discussing the 9 insights, and I'm so freaking excited. I can't wait. Thank you, Lovely Lotus. You're so welcome, Carrie. Appreciate you hosting this space anytime, Jack. Okay, awesome. Thank you all join. Yes, please join the email list. I'm going to send out fun stuff. Okay, I want you all to have a really good rest of your week. Okay, this is why we have them on Wednesdays, to help us get through the rest. You'll get an email from me either Thursday or Saturday, and then we have the next Lotus Hours on Sunday. Same time, same place. And we will be talking about, I think we're talking about, maybe I'll do retrogrades then, and then we can start the Celestine Prophecy on Wednesday. So let me do that. I'll do that on Sunday. We'll talk about retrogrades on Sunday. Yeah. Okay. I love you all so much. Blessings, Lotus, and everyone. Pamela, love you. Goddess One, thank you. Send a Venmo. Oh, thank you so much for sending Venmos. That means so much to me. I gotta check my Venmo. But yes, I love you all. Please have a fantastic day. And you guys can always reach me through my direct message on Insight Timer. There's also an Insight Timer group where we tap every day. And I'm just going to drop that here. It's called Lotus Living. And we have like daily tapping sessions throughout the day for you guys to like tap in, even when we're not having a session. So that way you're always able to practice taking care of yourself, no matter what you're experiencing. Okay? Love you all so much. Have a great day.